Good morning. Ooh. Hi, Amanda. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Christina. Hi, Iris, Jessica. Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, Jacqueline.
Hi, Jenna. This is always so fun when they all filter in like this.
Everyone just always so happy to see you, Shauna.
Hi, Christina. Sometimes the ones that don't say anything, they're like, no. Hi, Megan. Hi, Rebecca. You guys, hi, Sonia. You guys got a lot of people in here, I think from your side too.
Gosh, I can't type.
Jacqueline, you're getting your lashes done. I love you. You're so funny.
Is she listening while she's doing it? That is a great multitask. Amanda's in here. Amanda, are you looking forward to Vegas?
Oh yeah, who's going to Vegas?
Who's going to Vegas? Oof. Melissa, Tatiana, Shirley, Victoria, Sarah, Emily, Amanda, me, Morgan,
Everyone.
Chris, obviously. I think I forgot somebody in there. Who did I forget, Morgan? They're all going to be mad at me. But Amanda Mazur is our Hushie of the Year, so she won this free trip to
Yay.
Vegas. She gets to hang out all weekend with us.
Yay. How exciting.
Yeah.
Hushie of the
Hi,
Year.
Austin.
So cute.
Yeah, it'll be fun. Hi, Carlene. Carlene's in here. Are you going to Vegas, Carlene? Bells and whistles. You better. All right. We give enough time for everyone to get inside here? Hi, Linda. All right. Let's start. They'll just keep filtering in, I think. Right. Did I miss anything in the chat that I need to know? Hi from Michigan. Hi, Laura. Iris, hi. This is so fun, you guys. Today is one of my favorite webinars because I love these two girls. You guys know I'm a can of cheese whiz whenever possible. Sarah Sharp's in here. Hi, from the office. Hello. Sarah. Oh, I said Sarah. She's going too. I think everyone's going except the pregnant ones, right? And Laura. Um, anyway, these girls are wonderful. I love Face Reality, but these two, we've become little best buds, I guess, in the industry, right? I call Kelsey my cousin. Both our families are from the same place in Portugal. So if you hear me call her that, yeah, an island, it is an island, you're right. So, and Alex, I don't know, I loved Alex. I don't even know when I met Alex. I just felt,
We just started talking.
oh my, yeah, I don't even know. It's weird. And then little Kelsey comes along. I'm all right. She's cool. And we look alike a little bit. I mean, her eyebrows are better than mine, but seriously, we could be cousins, right?
Jeans. I don't know. They're all bushy. I have to wax them every week or I'll have a unibrow.
The Portuguese eyebrows. I got them too.
Yep, it's a thing. Yep.
Oh, it's funny. Alex, you could be a long lost cousin because we all look alike. Anyway, Face Reality is one of the best acne brands out there. They are the acne experts. We are the sensitive skin experts, so it always makes a wonderful pairing. We've done few webinars together because our products really work just simultaneously incredibly together, like synergistic, especially obviously for your acne clients. So we do have a few products, but we're sensitive skin, so that kind of caps off what ingredients we can use to treat it. Most of the time, we're there just to treat that barrier until they can move on to other ingredients that Face Reality has. So this is like what I talk about in my classes. Like when you're ready or you don't do something in your treatment room and you refer out, this is the same concept. Like once I can do what I can do to their barrier, I move them on to different things that will help more with the acne and the ingredients that will help with that. So today, that's why we've come together to talk about the ingredients that we have and they have that help with acne. The hair, you guys, sorry, I don't know if anyone else can see it, but I can feel it. Anyway, good morning, Samantha. But so this is why we come together. I think collaborations are important. I think in our treatment rooms, we use a variety of different back bars and brands. And so again, we always try to bring you the best and companies with integrity and education. And so these are the education experts from Face Reality. There's more people on their team that I also love. But you guys, they have one of the best education programs out there for acne. And that's hands down. You guys know that's important to me. So I know I've introduced these two girls in a very cheesy manner. So I will have them introduce themselves in a professional manner because you guys should really get to know them, especially if you're our clients and you're thinking about bringing in another line. This is a heavy suggestion. So you guys, and thank you for coming.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
Smile. Yes, it's so fun. Okay, you guys, you introduce yourselves.
All right, Alex, you got the.
Let me get mine.
Oh, you got a slide too? Great.
We have slides for everything.
Everything. Get this pretty faces out of the way.
All right, I'll kick us off with intros. Hello, everyone. Thank you, Shauna, for the wonderful introduction. We just love you and love working with you, my long lost cousin. But my name is Kelsey Duke. I am our senior education manager of all things trade and partnerships. So I work very, very closely with like trade shows, trade pubs, and then anything we do externally with like our wonderful partners at Hale and Hush. I have been a licensed esthetician now for 10 years, and I have been with Face Reality as an acne expert for, it'll be 8 years in November, which is just crazy.
Wow.
I know, it's crazy. I started off in our clinic where I worked with clients. It's really where I fell in love with working with acne. I cleared my skin at Face Reality. So pulls my heartstrings. I have a lot of love and passion for this industry, especially with acne. It can be so debilitating and mentally hard on individuals, including myself. So I can literally yap about all things acne all day long, but I'll pass it off to Alex for an introduction.
Oh my gosh, this is Michael Rosano on the slide.
Wait, I see you. Oh, it does say Michael Rosano. Yep, you're Michael Rosano today. Hey, it's okay.
Okay. Hi, everyone. If I haven't had the pleasure of meeting you before, my name is Alex, and Kelsey and I are basically the same person. We're really in the same boat in our careers, in our time with Face Reality. I have been an esthetician for going on 9 years, and I'll be 7 years as an acne expert this coming August. So same as Kelsey, I started off in the clinic. So I was a treatment provider day in and day out, clearing clients. So I think her and I have a really unique understanding of what it actually takes and what it all encompasses to work with our acne clients, because acne is not an easy skin condition to treat by any means. It's emotional for us, it's emotional for our clients. So just being as best prepared as possible really is all you can do to better serve your clients. Dying that this is my goal.
That's so funny. It's really Alex, guys. It's really Alex.
It's definitely the first place we're always going to start when we're working with clients, and really where we work beautifully with Hale and Hush's products. I would say at least 60 to 70% of the clients that come in to get treatment for acne come in with a compromised barrier because they did try to wear acne, and we've depleted our skin. So now we have a compromised barrier. It could present as red, itchy, very sensation, stinging, all of the above. But what's really happening is that skin microbiome. So we actually love bacteria, right? There's good bacteria on the skin. There's problematic bacteria if you're acne prone. That C. acnes bacteria is actually not troublesome for somebody who does not have what we call retention hyperkeratosis. So think of this bacteria, they're working very simultaneously together to keep our skin protected. So it has a purpose. But if we have caused any disruption to that microbiome, it can cause dysbiosis. So now we have a damaged barrier, and all those little commensals that you see, they're able to penetrate and cause inflammation in the skin, irritation, and that's really the start where we're going to now see that compromised barrier. So first and foremost, we want to make sure our clients have a healthy barrier before we even start talking about active ingredients or things like benzoyl peroxide, because again, that's the foundation. So a lot of the times for the first few weeks, we're just working on rebuilding and getting that skin in a healthy place. And that is absolutely okay. And I feel like sometimes we get pressure from clients to have solutions and to clear as quickly as possible. And that education piece is so important, because if that barrier is not in a good place, the acne it's not going to heal. Your follicle is going to be like this, nice and tight, and nothing's getting in there. We want it to stretch so it's nice and open so everything can penetrate down and do the job that it's supposed to do. But that can only happen in a healthy state.
And then before I get into what acne is, I want to take a look at this graph here. So when we have that barrier disruption that allows all these little red pathogenic bacteria to get into the skin. So you may have a client who maybe they're genetically predisposed, or maybe they've never experienced acne ever in their lives before, but they did something to disrupt their barrier and now they're experiencing acne. I think back to when you were in aesthetic school and we all did a bunch of crazy stuff to our skin. We wrecked our barriers, we started using all kinds of products, and then we all started breaking out. It's kind of that same idea where, yes, acne absolutely has a hereditary component to it, but it can also be a symptom or worsened by this impaired barrier that you see here too.
Absolutely.
And then when we talk about what acne is, it's a chronic inflammatory disorder. It does have a heavy hereditary component to it as well. When we're looking at acne forming, we have different types of follicles. So when we're looking at the sebaceous follicle, we're looking at the pilosebaceous unit. So here we see the hair follicle, that hair shaft, and then your sebaceous gland, which is kind of that little yellow glob off to the side, fed down into the derma papilla, which is the thing right there at the bottom. And there's a lot of things that can make acne worse, but scientifically, when we're looking at the formation of acne, there's 4 main components to really look at. That first is that retention hyperkeratosis that Kelsey mentioned. So when we're looking at follicles, they're all lined with keratinocytes, and those keratinocytes should be able to shed no problem unobstructed, and that'll be about 1 layer per day. When someone is experiencing retention hyperkeratosis, there's keratinocytes in the shell, they're shedding up to 5, or not even up to 5 or more layers of skin per day. And that is the issue. So we're seeing that cause that microcomedone. I'm like waiting for it to like loop back around. So we see the hair follicle, the microcomedone formation forms right there. And that yellow glob that's right there in the middle, that's the infundibulum. That's basically the area between the surface of the skin to the top of that sebaceous gland. So that's where everything is happening right there. The retention hyperkeratosis causes that microcomedone, and it gets really sticky and truly forms and stucks because of sebum. So the sebum plus those excess dead skin cells, they cause that lesion. And when we're looking at acne, no matter what kind of acne you're seeing, it started off as that tiny little microcomedone there. But when we're also seeing the C. acnes bacteria kind of enter the equation there, that's when we're seeing more inflamed lesions. Because like Kelsey said, C. acnes is a normal bacteria on everyone's skin. But when we're creating this anaerobic environment, because if you imagine, oh, my little thing stopped moving. But if you imagine right in there, that comedone forms and it blocks any potential for airflow. So it creates that low oxygen or anaerobic environment. And that is where C. acnes bacteria really thrives. But when we're looking at C. acnes proliferation, it's doing a couple of different things that then lead to that inflammation as the last step. So as C. acnes proliferates, it's releasing lipases and enzymes, and it's breaking down the triglycerides that are naturally found in sebum, and it's breaking them down into free fatty acids. And that's problematic for a few reasons, because free fatty acids are comedogenic and they're pro-inflammatory. So because of this, the body is going to then send white blood white blood cells, because basically it's then triggered an immune response. And that is when you really start seeing all of the inflammation and the swelling. So you're seeing those really inflamed and large papules and pustules. So it's really kind of this just cascade that keeps kind of just continuing and continuing. So we want to stop this process as soon as possible, and we can do so topically. And we'll talk about a lot of those topical ingredients that can kind of stop and halt this process in its tracks.
And we like to keep things extremely simple because acne can be extremely complex. So we kind of bucket it in 3 different categories. We have our inflamed acne, which you can visibly see it's that red inflammation. You have your papules, pustules. This could even be those cysts and nodules that can be extremely stubborn. A lot of the times we see those on the chin and the jaw area. And you can also, we do have protocols for some common acne imposters that can resemble inflamed acne as well. We see a lot of fungal folliculitis in our clinic, and a lot of our acne experts work with that daily themselves. And we have seen things like staph as well. So you have to be very, very careful. We kind of teach you what to look for staph, so you can just refer them out to their doctor and get a proper diagnosis. But it is possible, we have seen it in our clinic. Inflamed acne responds beautifully to active ingredients. This is the type of acne that we can see clear extremely quickly. Acne takes anywhere from 30 to 90 days to surface and form the skin. And we have seen people clear in as little as 3 months. Everybody's very different, but inflamed responds just very beautifully. Non-inflamed acne, this one's our stubborn case. This can take upwards of a year, even longer in some situations, to clear just because it's stubborn. It doesn't want to leave. It's hanging in there. But this is that acne that you can't really see to the naked eye. Most of the time it's under the mag lamp, or you can kind of feel the texture. It looks a little pebbly. These we refer to as our open and closed comedones. Really, you'll see those blackheads, whiteheads as well here. And we do have some acne imposters that resemble this. Fungal folliculitis as well can resemble non-inflamed acne, as well as keratosis pilaris, which we see a lot on the body, and milia as well, which we can't do anything about because we are in California. But if you can use a lancet, it's beautiful. You can extract those beautifully with lancets. And then combination is probably what we see the most, where it's a little bit of inflamed, a little bit of non-inflamed acne, all kind of mixed in together. And the reason why it's so important to identify the different types is because we're not going to treat inflamed acne the same way that we're going to treat non-inflamed acne. So if you have a combination client, we're going to work on that inflamed acne first, and then we'll go in and target the non-inflamed acne.
Forgot we should have added pictures of the imposters here too. But when we're talking about acne imposters, I mean, we're calling them imposters for the reason they do pretty much resemble this. But when we're looking at something like subtype 2 or rosacea subtype 2, that papular pustular rosacea, that is what people commonly confuse with the inflamed acne. So that is going to present as central facial erythema, and you'll likely see the pattern. So you'll see it across the forehead, nose and cheeks and chin, and it will have some little papules and pustules mixed in. So a client, trying to kind of DIY this, or if you're new to acne or haven't seen an imposter in person, you may confuse the two. Luckily, there is some definite overlap in how we treat them, but the lifestyle changes a lot of things, because with rosacea, there's a lot of additional triggers than what acne is experiencing. With the fungal folliculitis or the malassezia folliculitis, this one, it's probably a little bit mixed in here in this client. It looks a lot like non-inflamed acne and little tiny pustules, but it's a lot more rash-like. So if you're looking at something and you're like, okay, this doesn't quite look like acne to me, and it looks a little bit more rash-like, or your client has said maybe it itches, or like it comes and goes really quickly, that's a good indication that it may actually be fungal folliculitis. But again, there's a lot of overlap there, and something like a mandelic acid works really good too.
I will say with the acne imposters as well, you'll be able to clear that a lot quicker than you can clear true acne. Most cases for like the fungal folliculitis, it'll come and go. So you're able to kind of identify that by that trait. And then I would say with fungal folliculitis, even subtype 2 rosacea, in some cases, we can see results in 6 to 8 weeks, depending on like the client's commitment to home care and lifestyle and such. So you'll be able to kind of, as you progress with your client, identify it too if it's not easily like identifiable in the beginning.
Something I see a lot of questions about too when SDs are like in like the Facebook groups and posting pictures of inflamed acne, there's a lot of fear with staph, and it's, you know, relevant. But more often than not, it is just severe inflamed acne. Staph, when you see it, it's kind of like jarring, like, okay, something is wrong here. So here we have this, like, this is regular inflamed acne in this picture. But when you're looking at a staph lesion, it's usually like several follicles involved. So you're getting more like large like areas, and it's very boil-like. You may see some more yellow secretions out of it. It can be hot to the touch. So it definitely just looks really off. Even looking, there's a lot clustered here, so it's kind of hard to tell. But when you kind of isolate these little inflamed lesions, they're pretty round, pretty normal shape, pretty consistent shape. When you're looking at staph, it's definitely a lot more like uneven borders, and just like a little jarring for sure.
To me, Alex, staph definitely looks like a sore or a wound.
Mm-hmm.
And acne definitely looks roundy acne. Like I feel like it's pretty apparent if you've seen both.
Yeah.
Right. It's hard to describe to people who haven't seen that yet.
Yeah. Or if you don't treat a lot of acne or work with a lot of acne, it can be a little
Right.
confusing. I always tell people just trust your gut. Worst, best case scenario, it's not staph and you can just start working with them, but always just like have their doctor confirm for you first, because that can absolutely spread and be scary. So
Yes.
trust your gut. SDs have good intuitions, and I feel like they
And
can.
and please just keep your gloves on.
Yeah.
Like that.
Precautions. Assume everyone
Yes.
has something you don't want.
Yep.
Yeah. So when in doubt, refer out. Don't touch them. Okay, and then getting into regimens and ingredients. So when we're looking at regimen development, this is very important to look at your client holistically. We need to look at everything that's going on in the skin. We also need to consider like their lifestyle. Do they work out in the sun a lot? Do they work an overnight job? So we need to look at the big picture of our clients, and we need to really curate the entire routine. A lot of clients will come to us and they're like, oh, can I just buy like a Mandelic serum? Can I just buy Advanced Acne Med? And the answer is no, because I'm not going to throw any brands under the bus, but if they're using like something from a drugstore, it's designed to work for everybody in the world, and it's probably not going to do much to their skin. That's why a lot of derms will pair like some drugstore brands with prescriptions, because they don't do anything. And they're not doing anything in like the active sense, but they're also not really truly supporting the skin either. Because when we're looking at supporting the skin in the regimen, the first thing that we always look at is barrier health. That's why on this presentation here, that was the very first slide we looked at. Barrier health is the most important thing to take into consideration, because a lot of the time clients come to us and they have already kind of wrecked their skin. They've maybe gone and gotten several different prescriptions. Maybe they were ordering peels on Amazon. Maybe they went to Target and they got every single active they could think of and put it on their skin. So a lot of the time we have some kind of catching up to do with the skin. So repairing that barrier first. And it's not just about barrier repair, it's about barrier care long-term, because we're not going to just get the skin healthy and then start throwing, acids in every step. We need to keep some products in play throughout the life cycle of our clients, just to make sure that the barrier is always being addressed. Next thing we'll look at is the skin type. This is really the foundation of everything. Your client's skin type. What does their skin type need in order to be healthy and feel comfortable? So that's going to help you decide things like your cleanser, toner, moisturizer, and sunscreen. Those more supportive products. Acne type is really going to help you determine what type of exfoliating acid you have. So if we're looking at somebody with or rosacea subtype 2, or they have like really inflamed acne, really oily skin, that BHA and salicylic might be the best choice for them. If we have someone with kind of combination acne, post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, fungal folliculitis, a mandelic acid will work really well in that situation. And we have to make sure that we're not limiting ourselves either, because thinking back to aesthetic school again, we learn about salicylic and then we learn about like prescription retinol. So we're not taught a lot when we're starting out, but there's acids, you know, for every occasion, basically. So that's really important to keep in mind. And then when we're looking at, does this client need benzoyl peroxide, and how strong of a benzoyl peroxide do they need? We're going to look really big picture. What's their skin type? What's their acne type and severity? What's their Fitzpatrick type? Because when we're introducing BPO, we'll talk, BPO gets its own slide. She's that girl in this presentation, but when we're using her, we need to be very cautious to ensure that we're not causing any further complications or damage to the skin.
All right, and this is kind of just highlighting everything Alex just said about why supportive products are very, very important. I'm a visual girly, so I love this image because it kind of is showing what I was trying to show with my hands, with the follicle being very, very tight if your skin is compromised, and we want it like nice and open. It's like a muscle, it can stretch. You can't change the shape of your follicle, but it can stretch. We want it to be nice and open so all of those ingredients can penetrate at the levels that they need to be effective. So when people ask, what is the importance of, all these supportive ingredients that you are all talking about? And this really highlights the importance of all the products that Hale and Hush offers, as well as that sensitive skin specialist. But inflammation in the skin, that's going to weaken the barrier. Kind of talked about this earlier. It's going to disrupt the healing process, and it can worsen other skin conditions as well. So the benefits of all these anti-inflammatories ingredients, especially for acneic or very sensitive skin, it's going to help reduce any redness and visible inflammation and swelling in the skin. It's going to help reduce that sensitivity and the irritation, which again, if your skin is in a state of constantly trying to catch up, those acne lesions we're not going to be able to treat those acne lesions. So more acne lesions can happen. Once your barrier is repaired and you're in a better state, your skin is going to be able to allow those active ingredients to work in different levels. So here's a image of the follicle. It's very, very inflamed right now. You can see absolutely nothing is getting in there. Once that inflammation has gone down, then our ingredients can penetrate where they need to be. This is also going to help minimize long-term damage and post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. Almost every client that we work with in our clinic, and I can speak to this when I was treating clients too, they will have some type of post-inflammatory erythema, inflammation, hyperpigmentation, and that can look so different for every client depending on fits type, skin type, sensitivity. All these things are a factor, but a lot of the time, this is their secondary concern that we now have to go treat. So think of it as preventing that pigmentation when we're using all of these anti-inflammatory ingredients.
This is a huge one to keep in mind when you're dealing with darker skin tones, Asian skin, because when we're looking at PIH, it's basically caused by the wound. It's inflammatory. So when we're having a lot of inflamed acne on the skin, the more and the faster we can calm that inflammation, the better the long-term result and the prevention of that PIH. And then some of the ingredients. So there are so many ingredients out there. These are kind of the ingredient categories to narrow it down a little bit. So when we're looking at topicals, you have pre and probiotics. And when we're talking, again, going back to the microbiome, it's covered in microbiota. There's so many different microbiota when we're looking at the surface of the skin that help to make up that barrier protection. So feeding them topically is really helpful to keep everything nice and healthy. So something like an inulin, which is derived from chicory root, that's a great topical one. Your humectants, so anything that is really binding hydration to the skin, binding that water to the skin. So think your sodium hyaluronate, sodium PCA, your beta glucans, your hyaluronic All of these really help to draw that moisture and keep it into the skin, because when we're looking at skin, you have to have the balance of water and you have to have the balance of oil in order for everything to function properly. So humectants are a nice piece of that to keep everything nice and healthy. Then we have antioxidants. So many different forms of antioxidants out there, vitamin C being like an obvious one. But there's a lot out there, and these are really there to help prevent and protect against environmental damage. Antioxidants a lot of the times in brightening formulations, because when we're looking at brightening formulas, sun is a huge aspect of that. Environmental aspects go into brightening, so antioxidants are usually chock full in there. Peptides, go a step further to peptides and ceramides. They're both really important for the overall barrier health. We want to make sure that the skin has enough oil in it. We want to make sure that the there. We want to make sure that it's nice and healthy to keep out all of those pathogenic bacteria. Anti-inflammatory ingredients, there's a laundry list: panthenol, allantoin, bisabolol, centella asiatica. Your kind of multifunction ones like your beta-glucans also help in this. Beta-glucans is also a ceramide. So anywhere that we can calm down the skin, the better. And then there's some support that we can provide as well. So when you're taking things like zinc is an excellent one if you have a client who is really inflamed. It's a great anti-inflammatory. So zinc helps to calm that inflammation from within, because there's of course inflammation happening more in the follicle on the surface of the skin, but a lot of the kind of like secondary triggers to acne have a lot to do with inflammation within the body, systemically. So that zinc really helps to calm down the inflammation. This is also great for regulation. So if you have someone who is also really oily, that's a great option. And then if you have someone on omega-3s are good for everything in the body, but major call outs here if someone is experiencing cyclical breakouts. Maybe they break out around their menstrual cycle. Maybe they're experiencing PCOS. Lots of different reasons to call out the omega-3s. Someone who experiences chronic dryness because it's helping to regulate sebum, but it's also improving the sebum. You have your pre and probiotics. So you have them topically, but you also have them internally. Pre and probiotics are great for someone who just, tried antibiotics for their acne. Maybe they've done a round or two of Accutane. There are some other conditions that are directly tied to your gut skin axis. So PCOS is one. Rosacea can be triggered by gut health. So when you have this well-rounded approach where you're looking at things internally and that's just the most support that we can give our clients. And we're looking at the supportive ingredients. These can be found at every step of the way. So something like a peptide or a humectant, that's okay to see throughout the routine. Where the area where this gets a little dicey is when you're really working on barrier repair and you have a lot of humectants or moisturizers in every single, it almost like smothers the skin and you can cause some reactions that way. So while these can be found at every step of the routine, just kind of do so with caution, and don't kind of like jump on someone with an impaired barrier with, every single step is something super creamy and super enriching, because that can really cause a reaction. But once you get the skin nice and balanced, and especially when you start adding in exfoliating acids, that's when these ingredients really come into play.
Hey Alex, just FYI, I think your Wi-Fi is glitching just a little bit. There was a few words that cut out. Just keep it in mind. If it continues, maybe we can just have your camera off or make sure you're connected, but just want to give you a heads up.
Okay, cool.
Thank you all for letting us know. I was getting that too, but I didn't know if it was just me or if everybody was experiencing that.
Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so benzoyl peroxide. This is one of our tried and true products that we utilize at Face Reality. We love benzoyl peroxide. I know there's a lot of mixed feelings about this product, but with proper education and knowledge and usage, it can be extremely successful when you're working with your clients to get them clear for good. I always like to preface by saying this is one of only 5 ingredients that are FDA approved in the use of treatment for acne. So that's extremely important as when we're talking with our clients. A lot of people get turned off to benzoyl peroxide because they either did what I did and they bought the 10% from the store and try to wash away their acne, or they're using something that's just not suitable for their skin, or they're using too much, too fast, too soon. So we follow a very slow method to introduce this ingredient because we want to avoid all of that adverse reactions. We work very closely with our product development team on benzoyl peroxide and education, and it's something like less than 2% of people have a true allergy to benzoyl peroxide. Rather, they're experiencing some type of like irritation, redness, just due to it being too high of a percentage for them. So we offer 3 different percentages, and I hardly ever use 10% with my clients because I just never felt that need. There are some cases that are more severe, stubborn, very oily skin that it can tolerate that higher percentage. But I just found that that's really like troubleshooting, or maybe they're not clearing and we need to boost their skin up, we want to boost their routine up a little bit. So every client's going to be extremely different, but something you definitely want to be mindful of is the Fitzpatrick type when you're working with benzoyl peroxide. I never go any higher than 2.5 because we can actually hypopigment the skin if it's too strong. And now we have another secondary condition that we cause that we need to go treat. So slow and low is our approach when it comes to benzoyl peroxide for every single client. But how it works, I think it's very important for just, again, the visuals learners out there to see how this is working. But acne, again, it's influenced by that retention hyperkeratosis mixed with that excess sebum for whatever, that can be caused internally, externally. You have your C. acnes bacteria and inflammation in the body. So that's all brewing in the follicle. It's having a little party. It's creating that microcomedone. It's feeding off of each other. And here we have that microcomedone. So what benzoyl peroxide does, and we actually use micronized benzoyl peroxide at Face Reality, which most people don't know this, but BPO is actually a powder. And it's sometimes when you use a benzoyl peroxide, you can feel a little grit in there. And like it's like essentially a clump of BPO in the product. So it can cause hot spots. It can penetrate too much BPO in one area, which can be irritating to some clients. And then, of course, naturally it causes the irritation and then people don't want to use it. So we want to avoid that at all costs. So with this micronized benzoyl peroxide, it's extremely fine. So you can't feel any grit in the product, and that allows it to penetrate deeper. And when it's penetrating deeper, it's able to just work better, work faster, and it's more efficient. So what BPO does, and this is how I explain it with my clients when I was working in the clinic, is benzoyl peroxide is going to be our preventative. This is going to stop new acne from forming. It is basically releasing oxygen into the follicle, and that C. acnes bacteria cannot thrive in that anaerobic environment. So acne cannot form when you have benzoyl peroxide on the skin. It also it's not an exfoliating product, but it can show similar exfoliating properties. It also helps with inflammation and redness. So it's great for all acne, but especially for that inflamed acne type. So it's a beautiful ingredient. I think it's just comes with the confidence of like understanding how it works to then, go use it. But this is our preventative. We tell our clients like this is what's stopping new acne from forming. And then your serums, so your like mandelic, your salicylic, your glycolic, is working on what's already on the surface of the skin. And I like to say like when that acne is on the surface of the skin, it's kind of ran its course, right? Like it already formed in the follicle. It's done what it needed to do under the surface of the skin. Acne does not form on the surface of the skin. It's happening underneath. And now we can either extract it or we can work on it with like a serum or something topical. So that's kind of how I like to explain it to get the full picture of how that works. And if there are any other questions, I'm happy to even dive deeper, but it works beautifully for clearing acne.
Okay, I'm going to try without my camera on to see if that helps.
Okay.
So while we're looking at BPO as a great preventative to breakouts that have, a great preventative to breakouts that haven't quite yet surfaced yet, there's a lot of corrective ingredients that we can use on the surface of the skin to help aid with lesions that have already surfaced and those secondary concerns like PIE and PIH that acne typically comes with. So first and foremost, you should not have corrective ingredients at every step in the routine. I think that's where a lot of clients go wrong when they are kind of like DIYing it. They get like a salicylic cleanser, they get a BPO cleanser, they get crazy serums, they get moisturizers with acids in them. So you shouldn't have these kind of ingredients in every step of the routine. When we're looking at mandelic acid does a great number of things. It's anti-inflammatory, it's antifungal, antibacterial, it's brightening. So this is really a great starting point in any acne journey. So if you're unsure of what serum to give your client, a mandelic's like a nice starting place because it does so many different things. So inflamed, non-inflamed, PIH, fungal folliculitis, mandelic has you covered. We also have your other alpha hydroxy acids in lactic acid. Lactic acid is another one that pairs really well with basically everything on this list. It's brightening, it's exfoliating, it also helps to bind some more hydration to the skin. And with a lot of acne clients experiencing PIH, it's a great addition there. Maybe we need to switch gears. So when you're looking at your AHAs, they have a larger molecular weight, mandelic acid being the largest. So it penetrates very evenly and very slowly on the skin. So maybe you need a much smaller weight alpha hydroxy acid. That's where glycolic acid comes in. That penetrates a little bit deeper into the skin, a little bit faster. That's why you have some people need to acclimate to it a little longer, but it's beautiful for your non-inflamed acne, especially more stubborn non-inflamed acne like maturation arrest, because it's a really great exfoliant. AHAs are amazing, but maybe your client is really oily and really inflamed, so we need to try a BHA. So salicylic acid is kind of like that tried and true. Everyone associates salicylic acid with acne, and that's because it works really well for it because it's anti-inflammatory and it's antibacterial. In addition to inflamed acne, it's also great for your younger clients who are just like really oily, really congested. Think like your teens that have like real big comedones across their nose and cheeks. There's a lot of different areas for it. Rosacea subtype 2 is another really great area for this. Like Kelsey was saying, your acne imposters typically respond faster than your regular acne. So if you get someone on a nice calming routine with salicylic acid for acne rosacea, they'll see some really good results fairly quickly there. You also have some other exfoliants in your retinoids, your retinols, your retinols. These are really great for just overall skin rejuvenation because acne is usually a client's first concern. But once the acne is cleared, they're like, okay, but now I want to work on age management. I have some lines, I have some pigmentation. So retinoids are a really great one that kind of span the gap of what our clients will need. We really reserve them for non-inflamed acne just because as a client's skin acclimates to retinols, it can be sensitizing and it can be a little bit inflaming to the skin. So we'll really reserve them for your non-inflamed acne. Again, especially stubborn non-inflamed acne like your maturation arrest. This isn't something we do often, but in the most severe of cases of maturation arrest, we may even layer a glycolic and a retinol. And of course, BPO that Kelsey just covered.
All right, let's see this kind of all together in a case study now. So this was from our acne expert, excuse me, Amada Tavares. She was our acne expert of the year last year, and she's one of our ambassadors now. But this is a great case of inflamed acne, and you can see she has some cystic stuff going on as well in her jaw. We would consider this a severe inflamed acne case. So she came in, she was experiencing, a lot of redness, extreme sensitivity, some scabbing. After they worked through the boot camp, it was time she had a lot of atrophic scarring and deep pitted scarring. So Amada is in New York and she can play with fun things like lasers. So she was actually able to add in additional modalities after she got her cleared, which is another great thing, not great thing, I hate to say great thing, but with acne, people typically have secondary conditions that they want to treat after their acne is gone. So that client's going to keep coming back to you. And there's always a new goal, right? And once you can get somebody clear, it's like you have a client for life because they're able to trust you. So she was able to keep her on, and they did some laser treatments, and she was able to get that scarring in a really good place. You can see some keloid scarring still happening, still on the jawline. And that sometimes happens, in the most severe cases, you can see keloids present themselves on the skin. But I mean, she cleared beautifully. So for treatments, she did some clear skin peels. We have different levels of our clear skin peel. So she did a few of those different levels. She also did the hydrating enzyme, and she did extractions. She did LED and high frequency. LED and high frequency also are really nice in the acne treatment space. And then in the morning, this was her home care routine. For our acne experts, you might know some of these products, but if not, we have our ultra gentle gel cleanser in the morning. This is just a very gentle cleanser. Moisture balanced toner. She was really focusing on hydration because she came in with a lot of sensitivity and redness and scabbing. So this is a very hydrating, healing routine. She had almondelic serum, Hydra Balance gel. We didn't have Hydra Remedy then at this time, but I bet if we did, she would have had her on Hydra Remedy. Clear Derma Moisturizer, Daily SPF Lotion 30. And then in the evening, she did Ultra Gentle Cleanser. It was a little bit more simple in the evening, maybe. And we hear this from time to time too. Clients don't want to commit to a full 10-step regimen, which is totally fine. So we simplified it here a little bit. She did Ultra Gentle Gel Cleanser, Moisture Balance Toner, Hydra Balance Gel, and Advanced Acne Med. And I believe these results took about 9 months to a year with the additional modalities and scarring.
We have some contact info down here. So of course you can always reach out to Kelsey and I on Instagram. We love chatting. If you want to learn more about the brand or becoming certified, you can always check out the website at pros.facerealityskincare.com or reach out to info@facerealityskincare.com. But please don't ever hesitate to reach out. And Shauna, you were worried our slideshow wasn't long enough to yap through for this long.
Yeah, I'm gonna jam through mine. It'll be fine. No, that was awesome information, great education as always. Even if it is just for a short bit, I think everyone learned something in here. I took some notes. So even myself, I have there's a lot of questions. So let me speed through my slide deck and then we'll get to all the questions. Kelsey, do you need to log off now?
I do have to hop off, but this has been such a pleasure. Alex will stay on and answer any Face Reality questions. But thank you so much for having me, and I will see you in a couple weeks here. Thank you.
Couple weeks. It's next week.
Oh my gosh, sorry. I don't even know what day it is anymore. Thank you, everyone.
Get your prom dress ready and we'll see you in Vegas. You better be looking cute.
Oh, she will be, Kelsey.
I know. How can she not? I'm the one that everybody should worry about if I'm going to look cute.
No, I want to see results of your fashion show that you had last night.
I did have a fashion show last night. Okay. So really fast here with my friends Alex and Kelsey. You guys, I told you they were the experts. They're amazing. Sensitive skin is obviously what we do. We've talked about this so many times. So we'll talk about more barrier function and the ingredients and products we have at Hale and Hush. It's very important to me to emphasize the importance of collaborations and working with multiple brands. It does expand your knowledge. Obviously, Hale and Hush cannot educate the way on acne that Face Reality does. So you need more than one brand. It gives you more resources. It can create hierarchies of treatments, adaptive protocols that you use in the treatment room, and then home regimens for your clients. Your clients have more choices. You get more effective results. And anytime you find a niche market like sensitive skin or acneic skin, you are going to be fully booked. I really believe that the more you narrow down what you can do and what you're super good at in your treatment room, you will get more clientele. I do. The estheticians that do 20 things, it's not always working out for them. You've got to be an expert in what you do. We've talked about a lot of this, so I'm going to skip through it. Inflammatory responses, it's usually internal, external issues with acne, and how the barrier is affected. Again, this is another extreme case of acne. And I think, and here's what Hale Hush focuses on. Sorry, guys, now I'm hot. First cold, it's hot. Can't get it together today. We do have ingredients. We have salicylic in one product. We have a lot of mandelic acid. We have a retinol, which Face Reality has different ones that you can choose from that are higher strength. And we have enzymes a lot for our exfoliation. And then, of course, the things we do not have, benzoyl peroxide, like Kelsey went over, glycolic acid, like Alex went over. That's where you go to the other brand to help you out with those type of clients. So as you can see, the combination works really well. For Hale Hush, our exfoliating and acne fighting products are obviously the enzyme and Bedazzle Revitalize in the treatment room. Bedazzle has a 5% mandelic, 10% lactic. Nope, that was backwards. 5% lactic, 10% mandelic. Sorry about that. Clarify Wash is our new mandelic cleanser at a light 3%. Clear Future Toner does include salicylic acid. It's one of our only products with salicylic acid in it. And our charcoal clarifying mask, which we'll give away some of that today too, also has AHAs in it that help detox and purify the skin. So we're prepping you guys and your clients and those barriers for other ingredients that you may need to add into the routine. I just left this in here because she's new. Alex, come by the booth. We'll get you hooked up with some Clarify Wash. But come early because I'm feeling it's going to blow out. This is our new wash. And we made the funniest error on this. I have to just admit this out loud. Error. We wanted a cleanser for acne, but a gentle one that helps barrier function. Everything we do, right? So we had this created by our chemist. We went through a few rounds. He nailed this one really fast. We're super excited. However, I've used it for months. My team has used it for months before we came out with it. Other people are using it. I don't have acneic skin at all. I have grandma dry dehydrated skin. It works lovely on all skin types. So marketing error on this one. Shirley, our other educator, almost gave hers away because she didn't have acneic skin. We're all, whoa, whoa, whoa. You might want to try it before you give it away. So no matter, this does work on all skin types, although it is targeted for our acne clients. Right? Love it. Our brightening, retexturing, and scarring products. And again, these are just to help with that barrier, and very light topical is our Rare Mandelic Serum. Our Rare C Serum, like the girl said, antioxidants are so important. Same with our Rare Retinol Serum that will help retexturize the skin. And then our Clarify Wash will brighten it because of the mandelic acid in there. But what we do mostly is barrier repair, right? That is our game. That's what we do. So we're back to that quiet wash that's always been a staple for years to help with barrier function. Our Soothescent Serum, which is full of hyaluronic acid. Berry Boost Mask. Our new mask is very hydrating and nutritionally dense with a ton of antioxidants in it. The two spritzes we have, Miss Me and Fresh Breeze, both with antioxidants, both to help barrier and hydration. I'm speeding through it, guys. Most of you know all this. Hydration and moisturization. Here's our Hush Hydrate Gel and Mask. And Vital Lipid Lotion. Yes, saffron can be used. However, if they have oily skin, they don't usually like the feel of it. Not that it's comedogenic in any way, but they don't like it. So we do not put it on this list for our acne. And then Remedy Rehab Oil, which people are also sometimes opposed to use oil on acne. If you have that dry acne that is not that huge inflamed, what did you call her, even combination, Remedy Rehab is great to rehabilitate the barrier and get the hydration moisturization leveled up. You can do extractions easier, and then other products penetrate better and work effectively like they're supposed to. And of course, we have Protect and Defense. Our Bio Relief Powder is the magic powder that takes down that inflammation and redness. And then, of course, sunscreen. Everyone needs sunscreen. So You can use sunscreen from either company. For us, do you guys like, Morgan's going to kill me on this slide. Do you see how bad that looks? Yep, that's Shauna's cutting and pasting. Look at her. Yep, I'm dead. This is when I go on my own, Alex. I get busted for this, right? But our acne routines, we do have an acne kit, which is on the left in the white box, right? Clarify Wash, Clear Future Toner, Hush Hydrate Gel, and of course, Broad Spectrum. I would add into that Rare Mandelic, the Charcoal Clarifying Mask, and then Soothe Essence, and if needed. So that is what we recommend. This is Kristen, our educator. She does use both lines in her treatment room. Alex knows Kristen too. She does an amazing job, and she's the one that teaches our acne classes for Hale and Hush, but this is her own personal journey. She's used both brands in this photo over years. Like they said, it doesn't always go away magically and soon for everyone. It's an ongoing process, but she's cute as a bug. I'm sure you guys have seen her on our classes and online. This is my client that we have used both. I've used a lot of Hale and Hush with her, but a lot of Face Reality too. Her acne was gone, but she did not like tone, texture, high PIE, PIH. So, and her scarring. And this is without laser. You can do magic things. She did get laser after this on the what do you call it? The leftover. She always calls it her leftover marks that the product didn't help. But yeah, it does amazing things. You guys, next month we have 2 webinars. Our anniversary starts July 1st. And man, our boss has gone wild in July about what she's giving away. So stay tuned. There'll be gifts and prizes at every single turn. In fact, in Vegas, she's going to go around and give out balloons and cookies for our anniversary. So it's going to be super fun. But July, we have modalities with Millicent. August, another device with Rez. And then we're going to holiday time, right? And then peel season with Linder Health. You guys have, all of you, if you don't have this, please scan this QR code. This is where you can get a lot of free education and free, here's where all the webinars, protocols, all the things are stored for your social media. And there's how to reach out to me, but I could bet all of you know that. So let me stop this. Did I run through it fast enough? It was like, woof.
Yeah.
Because there's a lot of questions. I don't want to skip those. Morgan, should we do the giveaways in case people have to go away? To go back to work, maybe. Today we're going to give away 2 Clear Future toners, 2 charcoal clarifying masks, and 2 of the new clarifying wash. So are you ready, Morgie? Sorry, Alex. We got to do this because people leave and then they don't get their prizes. So who wants a prize today? And you guys will have, if you win, you have to be in here to win. And you have to email me to get your prize with your address. Please don't forget your address.
Okay, you know I have to ask, can everyone see my spinner?
We can see your spinner.
Okay.
I love the spinner noise, Alex. It's just so fun.
Okay, Rebecca Gonzalez is first.
Rebecca, are you in here? Rebecca, toner, mask, or wash? I've never ever given anyone a choice.
I know, I was gonna say, what?
Mask, okay.
What does she want, mask?
Yeah,
Okay.
Rebecca Gonzalez.
All right, next. Amali McKinnon.
Molly, are you in here? And if so, what would you like? Mask, wash, or toner? Mask. Okay, and masks are gone. Hold on, Molly. In. Okay.
Damaris?
Damaris, are you here? Come on, get in the chat. I am. Damaris, do you want toner or wash? Okay. Got you.
What?
She wants the wash.
Okay.
Okay, go Morgan. It is so fun. Who said it's fun? It's fun. Who is that? It's going back and forth.
Herma?
Are you in there? Oh, is she not in here? Oh, that's so sad. Oh. All right. Irma, you're not in here. Are you in here? Last chance. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Someone's name is not included. Sorry. Morgan does it at the very beginning.
It's on the dial. They just can't see it on the right-hand side.
Angela?
Angela.
Is Angela in here?
Angela's there.
Okay, what do you want, Angela? Toner or clarify wash? Okay, spin again, Morgan. She's okay, got you. Okay, for the toners, go, Morgie. This is a lot today.
Stephanie Trent.
Stephanie, are you in here? Oops, spelled your name wrong. That's rude. Stephanie, are you here? Yes, great. Okay, next one.
All right,
last one.
Last toner. Sarah?
Sarah, are you in here? Sarah? Sarah. I think it's Sarah. Anybody? Yes. Okay, Sarah, we got you. How do you say your name? I wish I could let her talk.
I like how there's clapping involved with the wheel spin. Finally, you guys could hear the sound. Oh my gosh.
Let's get to these questions because there's a million. Yeah. Okay, no, there's 14. Thank you guys. That was so fun. I don't know what that is, but done. Okay, so if you get someone, whoa. Will this PowerPoint be available? No, Jessica, but you can watch it on the replay. We just can't give you the deck. That's intellectual property. Does unmanaged inflammation also impact the efficacy of prescription oral medications?
Oral meds are only a very, they're a piece of the puzzle. When we're looking at truly clearing clients, it has to do with internal and external factors. So if you're not managing the inflammation both internally or externally, then it could make it so that any meds that you're on aren't working to their full potential.
Mm-hmm. I think so too. It has to be an entire process with acne. You just can't do one thing and ignore the internal issues, right? Amanda, it's going to be recorded. It'll be sent to you in 24 hours and then it'll be up on YouTube soon. Is it within our scope to recommend supplements to clients? We get this a lot. So how do you approach it, Alex?
I lead with letting my clients know I am not a registered dietitian. I am not a nutritionist, but I am an educated skincare professional. So I can let them know the options that they have available to them. And then it's up to them to do with that information what they will. So you're not, you're not telling a client they have any type of disease. You're not claiming to cure it. You're not putting them on meal plans or anything like that. You're simply taking information that you have and sharing it to your clients, and they can make informed decisions.
That's right. Or you just tell, if you ask them to go research zinc for acne, Google will take you you'll get so much information on it. So you can also just direct them to do their own searches and then they'll come back to you and purchase it. I mean, it's that simple. Is BPO good for dry skin?
You gotta go in with a low percentage. So the lowest that we go and the lowest you'll see on the market is 2.5%. So that's a great starting point. But then when you're looking at dry skin, you need to make sure that you have complementary products to that. So I wouldn't let a client have just kind of like any old drugstore routine and then give them BPO. I'd make sure that they were on a nice balanced hydrating routine to support that BPO use.
Definitely. That was a great answer there. Does BPO help with cystic acne?
All kinds of acne. All acne starts the same with that non-inflamed, that microcomedone, and then the other extenuating circumstances help or cause the inflammation. So BPO does it all acne types.
Okay. Once an acneic client is cleared and the acne is maintained, what are the best treatments, facials to maintain the results?
So with clearing acne and looking at treatments, enzymes are excellent, peels are excellent for the clearance of acne, but they're also great for everything else too. So I let clients know that, yes, we're going through like the peels and the enzymes to get you clear, but that's also something you can do as maintenance as well, just because they're doing so many different things for the skin. There's so many secondary concerns. If you're in a state where you can also microneedle or laser, those are excellent like next step treatments.
Yep. Good luck in California, right?
Mhm.
Does sulfur have a place in treatment?
Ooh, yes. Sulfur is another great one. Sulfur is one of those 5 FDA approved drugs for the treatment of acne, where it's different. So it is keratolytic and it is anti-inflammatory. It's not as preventative as like a BPO, but it makes a great spot treatment because it works quickly on inflammation. So you can absolutely have someone on a full routine. They're finishing with BPO, and if needed, they could also do the sulfur spot treatments, sulfur as a spot treatment on top of that.
Yes, I love that. Okay. Sorry, people were asking for my email. Can you spritz on top of the SPF? Damaris, do you mean like the Clear Future toner and the Miss Me spritz? If you mean that, yes, you can. Okay. Will there be a replay? Yes, Stephanie, replay within 24 hours. It's sent by Zoom, not me, so make sure to check your junk. Okay, how do you go about helping a client that is also seeing a derm for prescriptions?
That's an excellent question. And something we've been guilty of is been not being like SD elitist, but like pretending we're the only option. When a lot of clients do work with physicians, and we can't hate on derms all the time. So if you have someone who is working with a doctor already, are we doing or is the doctor doing like monotherapy with them? Like, are they only on one thing? Are they only on like a tetracycline or monocycline or something, doxycycline? That is a very small piece of the puzzle, and we know that's not the end all be all. That's not the long-term solution. So is there things that we can do to complement that? If you have clients even on Accutane, this isn't me saying this is the internet. You can find the white paper somewhere for this, but using 2.5% BPO in conjunction with Accutane has been proven to greatly decrease the purging with that. And of course, you guys have the best barrier care available to someone with on Accutane. So it's all about just making sure we are communicating everything that's going on with that client and making sure that we're not doing anything that's going to interact with the other. And then also making sure we're not telling clients to stop taking any type of prescription.
Yes. Yes, you can't really do that. They'll ask for your opinion, and you could say, like, if it was my daughter, son, I would blah, blah, but you can't say, like, cut the doctor out. Yeah, it's not good. This is a good one, Susanna. What is a good metaphor used to describe retention hyperkeratosis to clients? I'd like to know what our educational experts use. Like, how do you say it to clients, what that is on a basic level?
I don't have a cool metaphor like Savannah Boda. She's so good with her metaphors, but I would say how I describe it, I try to describe it as simple as possible, that like all the acne is stemming from an overproduction of dead skin cells. So we have too much dead skin cell shedding, and the body cannot keep up with it. So once you have all these excess dead skin cells and they're mixing with the stickiness of the oil in the skin, it's creating that plug. It's creating that microcomedone. That's like the most like easy.
And the word sticky kind of, makes it like you can visualize it.
Don't say like the cohesive nature of sebum. Say like the oil is sticky and it's causing a plug with all those dead skin cells.
And they get it. Does getting your skin to a healthy, hydrated state help with those stuck skin cells?
Ooh, yeah. So honestly, getting your skin healthy and back to base helps with a lot of things. So it can help with a little bit of honestly everything because a lot of problems stem from an unhealthy barrier. So it can absolutely help the skin regulate itself. But the flip side to that is retention hyperkeratosis is very hereditarily driven. So there is a genetic component to acne that we cannot overlook or forget about. So there's a lot of things that we can affect, but the retention hyperkeratosis especially has a little bit of that genetic component.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Okay, and here's the one. I'm not Face Reality certified and they really can't afford it to do it. Do you have any advice how to treat acneic skin for the time being? I usually send clients to the Face Reality website, but they can't purchase the benzoyl peroxide.
Yeah, I mean, Hale Hush has excellent solutions, and all this education that we're doing is free. The education that Kristen does is free. Kristen is excellent. I've known her for many years. She is both a Hale Hush educator and a certified acne expert. And when we're looking at BPO, it is important to the clearing process, but if you have someone who can't use BPO or if they have very mild acne, you can get away with utilizing your other acids. So like maybe utilizing a mandelic and a salicylic or a retinol and a salicylic. There's a lot of things that you can do.
Yes. And anytime that you go, if you go to shows or you can get into webinars online, I would just continue your education down that path. I mean, honestly, no matter who's teaching it, just get acne education somehow. Are there any products, ingredients that shouldn't be used in conjunction with topical prescriptions?
Oh, so when we're looking at topical prescriptions, we're looking at, they'll usually give them like a topical like antibiotic cream. More often than not, it's like a retinol or retinol. So if that's the kind of topicals that they're on, you'll just want to avoid any chemical exfoliation. So I wouldn't give them like any AHAs or BHAs. They might not be able to tolerate any BPO. So I would focus more if they have prescription topicals to really focus on the supportive products that you have instead of the corrective ones.
Mm-hmm. And last one, because we are really running up against the wall here. Sorry, Alex. Thank you for taking extra time. Does the Face Reality Expert course help with understanding and treating acne aside from the brand's products?
Yeah, and this is actually something we're coming out with more and more education as we go. So we talk about acne scientifically. So of course we talk about our clear skin method and what products you're going to use and what scenarios, but we also talk about acne as acne is, and we talk a lot about lifestyle and how to talk through lifestyle coaching, and then we also have a lot of business resources as well for you.
And don't forget, you guys, Hale Hush has 2 acne courses. Like Alex said, Kristen teaches our basic acne, which is next week. And then she has an advanced acne, which is more about internals and how to get clients to change their lifestyles. That's the more advanced acne. That's next month. So yeah, you can get education from either place. And yes, it's acne information. Of course, it does have product information in it too, but acne education is in both of ours easily.
Yeah, and I would say no acne education is perfect just because there's so much to learn. So if you can take any acne course, take it. I'm 3 times certified in acne. Something like Katie Marshall, she has the MBK Acne Detective. That's a beautiful compliment because it's written from the point of view of an esthetician who's also a nutritionist. So she talks a lot about like internal and hormones, things that like me as a licensed esthetician, that's not really within my scope to talk about. So take all the trainings, all the acne trainings.
Oh, thank you, Gina. She learned a lot in our class too. And is hyaluronic acid a negative to use on skin with rosacea? No, not at all. No. If you've heard that or you're researching that, make sure you research the other side too. That's all I'm saying. You'll hear weird things out there. Okay, Alex, I'm sorry it went over a little bit. I hope you had the time for it. I know you guys are just as busy as we are getting ready for Las Vegas and all the other things we have to do right before and after we come home. But it was great to have you on here. I'm sure they learned a ton of things. I always learn from you. You're one of the best educators. I love it. We hope to have you back again.
Always.
Right? But thank you so much for taking the time. I'm sorry it went over a little bit, but thank you for answering all their questions. I think it's super important. And you guys, do you need the information from Face Reality to go back to their website? Do you want to flash that up one more time, Alex?
Bit ago in the comments, but let me put the pro site in here.
Oh, good.
Oh, thank you, Morgan. Yeah, and then everything on the pros website, you can find all types of contact information and stuff.
And you guys are going to Vegas, Carlene? Yes. If you guys are going to Vegas, they have an awesome booth. I know they're going to have their ambassadors in the house. They're going to have demos all day. If you're really interested in acne, go over there and get involved somehow. Alex and Kelsey will be there, but there is a million more people at that booth that will help you too. They're all wonderful. No question is stupid. They'll answer anything you need.
Yeah, we'll have TK Green, we'll have Dana D'Amico, who's our new acne expert of the year. We have Kira, we have Savannah, we have the real Michael, just not just Michael on the page today. We have Allie Johnson. There's gonna be a ton of really great ambassadors there.
Okay, so Angela just said she found her secondary line. Awesome. Make sure you get that education, Angela. It's stellar. You won't be disappointed with what you learn, I promise. Okay, Alex, I'll see you in one short week, maybe a day. Yeah, in Vegas.
Fancy party.
It's going to be so exciting. We only have 3-4 parties to attend. It'll be okay.
No, only several outfits to pack, but it's fine.
Yeah, I think 2 suitcases almost.
Oh, it's going to be the big bag for sure.
The shoes. Yeah, it's just like everything can't fit in. My email is not going through for the prize. Did I do something weird? It's education. Oh, there. Thanks, Morgan. Sorry. Try that again. It works because I could see the email come through. Maybe I typed it wrong. I do those things. Okay, you guys, we're going to sign off. Hope to see you next month in our webinar. Alex, thank you so much. You're always the best, and I appreciate you so much.
Appreciate you. Thanks for having us.
Hey, see you later.
Bye, everybody.